There is one really big problem with the Chanel 25 and it's kind of hard to ignore. Hi guys, welcome back. So today I'm reviewing the Chanel 25. I've had this for a couple of months now. I have used it an absolute ton and I have a lot of thoughts about it, including the one thing which I think could be a little bit of a deal breaker. So I'm going to be going over the pros, cons, what fits inside. I hope you guys enjoy. So this is the Chanel 25 in the grained leather. This is in the small size. They have multiple different sizes, including the adorable mini and also the medium as well, which is quite a bit bigger. This is the nice kind of in between small size, which I think is absolutely perfect for me. I think the medium, whilst it is so huge and great looking, would be a little bit too large for me personally, and I definitely wouldn't be able to downsize to the mini without just sacrificing a lot of practicality for me personally. So I am very happy that I ended up with the small. I love so many things about this bag. I think it is absolutely beautiful. It's obviously a little bit of an it bag at the moment, but I do think this is one that kind of lives up to the hype in a lot of ways. So in terms of the overview, you wear it with the single strap right here. I would say one of the benefits of having the small size is that you can't overfill it because it's not super huge. You know, you can definitely fit enough items in here, and I will share with you exactly what can fit inside in a second. But if you did overfill it, I imagine this might begin to get a little bit heavy. You don't have any extra padding or anything like that, so you just have the hardware and the leather strap, whereas even completely full, this doesn't get uncomfortable on my shoulder, which I really like and appreciate. I think it is so gorgeous. So you have that wide open space right there. It is a fabric lining, which really does help to keep the weight down. If they were to line it in leather, I know some people do prefer a leather lining, but if they were to do that, it would contribute to the weight, and I think that's where you'd get into slightly uncomfortable territory with the chain strap. Thankfully, it's a fairly light bag, and that really has helped with the fabric lining. You do have one pocket right there on the inside, but it's a pretty small pocket, like it isn't substantial at all. So the vast majority of the interior is just that wide, big open space, which is always my preference. You do have pockets on each side, but to be honest, they are extremely slim. Like, you're really not going to be able to fit much in here at all. You might be able to squeeze a lipstick, but for me it's more like slips of paper, maybe some cards or anything like that. They are certainly more decorative than they are functional. You don't have any feet or anything like that on the bottom, so it is just a plain base. And then you do have the Chanel logo right there, which acts as the drawstring as well, so you can kind of close it and open it accordingly. I would say I very rarely fiddle with this. I generally tend just to keep it open at the same access level, and that just suits me fine. You know, it's closed enough that I feel secure with my items, but it's also open enough that I can kind of reach what I need to when I need to. So that for me is absolutely perfect. And I just love this bag. It is so easy to grab and go. I feel like it goes with more formal outfits if you wanted to dress it up, but it also equally works with leggings as well. And I can't think of many it bags of recent years which have really nailed that transition quite as well as the Chanel 25 has. And for that reason, it's become indispensable for me. Like, I've literally worn this with every single outfit. I love that I don't have to constantly change in and out of this bag because it just goes with so many different outfits. Good for dinner, good for daytime and running, good for picking the kids up. Like, it's just kind of perfect, and I love that about it. I'd also say it is supremely robust. Like, I've already put this bag through its paces. I've taken it to a theme park when I had no other choice. It wouldn't be my usual kind of theme park choice bag, but it's done so well. The leather is a really nice grain leather, which isn't stiff or hard. The only other experience of really grain leather I've had is on more of a Chanel structured bag, whereas this is really smushy and soft, but you still have that benefit of the grain leather, which to me is absolutely the best of both worlds. And for that, I just think it is so fantastic. 10 out of 10 in terms of the actual functionality. It suits my lifestyle perfectly, which I think is also why it's so incredibly popular, and I just absolutely love it. Which brings me to the big old problem with this bag, which is the intersection of cost versus how classic I think it is. Because even though functionally I think it scores almost perfectly for me, like, as I made clear, like, I absolutely love it in so many ways, I don't think that the cost necessarily justifies completely what you're getting, because essentially a lot of what we're paying for is The fact that it's a Chanel bag, the fact that it's a very popular bag, and yes, the functionality too, but realistically, you can get the same functionality for a lot less money as long as it's not Chanel. And the truth is that Chanel have absolutely priced this as if it's a very classic bag. It was over £5,000, which is not a small amount of money at all. I imagine it's going to see some price increases probably quite soon as well. And that is very classic forever bag kind of money. But am I convinced that this is a classic forever bag? Not really. Like, even if you just look at Chanel's history of producing very popular bags, they are very popular for a varied amount of time. It could be a season, it could be many years. They've had the Chanel Boy and the Gabrielle bag and the 22 and the 19. You know, some of those I've owned myself and loved for, you know, a certain amount of time. But none of those bags have come anywhere close to being on the same level as the Chanel Classic Flap, but the costs of their now seasonal bags are really getting up there in terms of just insanely high price tags, which you would expect to pay if you are buying a super classic forever bag. But the Chanel 25 is very untested, and even though I love the style in a lot of ways, if I had to bet money on whether I do think it's a classic forever bag, no, I don't. So for me, that's the one downside of the bag. It's its biggest problem by far, and it's honestly the thing that would stop me from buying multiples of this style, simply because at that price point I want something that is going to be super timeless and be in style forever, and I'm just not sure that this is going to be. So if it was a fraction of the cost, I would happily have the mini one, the tan one, a white one. Like, I'd want them all. It's that good of a bag. But at this price point, I don't think it's justifiable at all. In terms of the one I have, I'm still happy to pay the money, and I'm still glad I do have it in my collection. So I think it comes down to your tolerance for trend-driven bags, which maybe aren't going to be super classic in 10 years time. And of course, it could surprise us. This could absolutely be the new Chanel Classic Flap, but I am skeptical because I've been around luxury bags long enough to know that Chanel have a history of producing very popular bags which do tend to fizzle out. It could be 1 year, it could be 5 years, but they all seem to follow that same path. And for me, I would just be hesitant to buy many more iterations of this with that knowledge in mind. So do I think it's worth the money? Honestly, it's going to depend on your own personal preferences and your own financial circumstances probably as well. For me, I do still think it was worth it, but like I said, I probably wouldn't get another one simply for the reasons why I stated. I am very happy with the one I have though, and I do think it's a gorgeous bag which I have been using and loving non-stop. Okay, so I'm sharing with you now what can fit inside my Chanel 25, and as you can see, I have not filled this even close to being full. Like, there is so much room at the top here, so I could definitely fit more items in, but to be honest, I kind of ran out of items. So I have right here a small water bottle. You could definitely fit in a normal size water bottle. This is just what I had. And then I have my iPhone. I have some antibacterial wipes. I have my wallet that I'm using at the moment, which is the Louis Vuitton Victorine Compact wallet. I have a little Chanel coin purse here. To be honest, I don't really need to carry this. I just popped it in so you could see how much it could carry. I have a little compact, and I have a lipstick as well. If I wanted to use a long wallet, I absolutely could do. And that fits in without any issue at all. I just happen to be using my compact wallet at the moment. And as you can see, it fits in a decent amount. I could definitely fit more items in there if I needed to. So I could pop in a small umbrella. I could put in a tablet in there if I wanted to. I usually have some kid snacks in there as well. So it does me absolutely fine. And yeah, I just find generally it can fit a huge amount and certainly everything that I need on a daily basis. So in conclusion, a little bit of a mixed review in terms of functionality and look. This scores super highly. As I mentioned, I love how practical it is. I love how it goes with absolutely everything. It is carefree. Even the interior is very, very low maintenance. I have had all kinds of snacks spilled in this bag already, and it's just been brush and wipe clean, like so easy to maintain. I've had marks on the exterior. I've wiped those clean as well. Like, it really has been probably the easiest Chanel bag I've ever owned to maintain, and I love it for that reason. But the cost is extremely high. I'm not completely convinced it's worth it, especially because there are many other options out there. You could buy multiple other luxury bags at this price point. You could also get a classic flap in excellent condition on the pre-loved market for the same price as this, and that is actually a forever bag that is never going to date. So it's worth keeping that in mind. I would say if it's your first ever Chanel bag, for me personally, I would recommend something more along the lines of a classic flap. Even if you had to go the pre-love route, I think that is a safer spend of money than going for something that's a bit more trend driven like the 25. But if you are several Chanel bags in, or even if you just really love the style and hate the classic flap, in terms of the actual design and functionality, it's really, really great, and I have really been enjoying mine. So bit of a mixed bag. I love it with definitely an asterisk. So that wraps up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. Let me know if you agree with my thoughts on the Chanel 25 down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this bag, especially if you own it as well. Do you think it's a new classic, or do you think it's another trend from Chanel? Let me know down below. If you have any questions for me, then leave me a comment. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.